Well, Luke, what would you say, what tools or resources have helped Summit save time and money?
Helios has been a huge help in getting our onboarding in some sort of order. At this time last year, we were tracking collection of documents through a Google Sheet that was shared across several people, and we were just not having the best time of it. But having our Helios representative work with us to connect to Greenhouse's API to automatically pull in and create new profiles for people and give those new hires a place to go to just upload all of their documents and keep everything in the same place and to self-track that's been a huge time lift off of our shoulders.
I mean, how would you describe your average HR life before coming across Helios?
I think it was terribly disorganized. Whereas now, with that onboarding process really decentralized in a way, in that it's distributed out to the individual employees, but also each individual employee's experience and process is centralized on them. That has been a considerable help.
Where would you say you save the most time with using Helios?
I think tracking at the moment for that onboarding piece. And then the next piece would be data entry, which was something that's been a huge help. So we never have to go back in and retype information that already exists in another system. And so that transfers automatically and not only saves us time, it saves us on errors. Because anytime you have a human typing in information, you always risk a typo.
Sure.
So that's a significant help. Credentialing, I think that probably cut off anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a week for Kaylin's workload, and I would say it's roughly the same, if not slightly more, on my workload. For my workload, I think that the way that Helios has helped most significantly is in the onboarding piece. And like I said, so I would say probably 5 or 6 hours a week.
How would you say Summit saves money as a result of using Helios?
I think that where we were prior to getting on board with Helios was unsustainable for the number of people that we had in our HR department. And so I think that time that it saves us is itself money that it's saving us by helping us to avoid having to hire a low-level HR coordinator or hire a seasonal temp during our busy periods, because we're able to offload that onto automated workflows through Helios. Temp was about, I want to say something around 30 an hour. And then we kept him part-time, 20 hours a week for 10 weeks during our busy season. So let's see. So, I mean, that's 6,000 right there just off of headcount expenses. We had been seeing a significant amount of turnover in the HR department. I think because the workload was unsustainable until we figured out how to get that credentialing and onboarding piece kind of where we could set it and forget it. Recruiting costs and knowledge lost. Turnover is about 50% of an annual salary. So even if we were to play that very conservatively and call it 25%, that's still probably around another 30 to 40,000 in costs saved by reducing turnover within the HR department.
What would you say you enjoy the most about having Helios?
I think the customer service is on point. I would send off an email and say, "Hey, I'm having trouble with this. What could be causing this?" I'll get a response in, usually 4 hours or so. That's just unheard of. And it's amazing to me. It really shows the dedication of the Helios team.
How would you say that working with Helios for onboarding and credentialing has helped the most during COVID?
I think that anytime that you offload tasks into automated workflows, that's reducing your number of required touch points between people. And that's a huge help when you're in a situation where you're entirely virtual. So being able to have that all contained and centralized in one place, and to have the, as I said, the workflow of it automated, has been really helpful in making sure that we stay on track.
So what would you say, summing it up to someone who's considering adopting Helios for their school?
I think that having a school-specific HR information system and finance and payroll solution, all kind of bundled into one, is incredibly valuable. And I think that you really can't go wrong with Helios due to their customer service, as I mentioned, and their flexibility to work with you to make sure that the other products that you're using, as I mentioned for Summit, Greenhouse, and TriNet, can integrate seamlessly into Helios.
Thank you for sharing all of that today.
Absolutely.